What's your reaction? Because I see these clips on Twitter all the time, or X, whatever you want to call it, and it's clips from the '90s, and it's clips of bad defense, and everybody raves about the physicality in the
Bad
'90s, but
defense. Who
and
was
so
playing bad defense in the 90s?
I'm just saying these are clips that exist on Twitter, and people will comment and say,
Yeah,
"Wow, the
well,
defense was so great in the
maybe
'90s."
every now and then there was bad defense, but I'll tell you that the mid 90s, there was not a better defense. I mean, the Knicks Rocket series in 1994. That was just a defensive war. I don't think any team had a bad defensive game in that series. I mean, it was just a war of attrition the whole series. Uh, when Jordan went up against the Knicks, those were some like tremendous games. I mean, bitter, bitter, bitter games. And the yeah, and Jordan. Keep in mind, oh, geez, this happens to my camera now. He just goes blurry for no reason.
That's okay.
Um, and what you had was you had the Bulls won 6 championships in 8 years. The 2 years they didn't win it were the 1 year that Jordan was retired and the 1 year that Jordan came back in March and wasn't in fully great shape. Uh, then you had, I mean, he beat in the NBA Finals in '91. He beat Magic Johnson. He tormented Patrick Ewing. I mean, beat the Knicks several times on the way to the finals. Beat a pretty good Blazers team with Clyde Drexler in '92. They beat the Suns, who had a great season, '93, with Charles Barkley having the best year of his career. In '96, they came back and they beat they swept Shaquille and the Magic. They beat up on the Supersonics, who had a great season that year. The next 2 years, they beat the Jazz in the finals. I mean, those Jazz teams, any other era, they would have won at least one championship. But you had the Jazz, the Suns, the Knicks. We're talking Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing. These players did not get a ring. They never didn't do ring chasing like these assholes do now, like Kevin Durant. What a phony he is. But they didn't do ring chasing back then. And you know what? These players, these great players, did not get a ring. And the sole reason they did not get a ring is because of Michael Jordan. And it's just for that reason alone that he has the highest point per game record. I don't care how. LeBron James played 21 years. He better have the scoring record. I mean, my God. And LeBron James changing teams more than he changes his fucking underwear. I mean, and 2020 championship, that is the most fugazi championship ever. I mean, the ever that was so fugazi that bubble. Everyone's going on and partying after the game because they can't go anywhere. They can't leave the fucking premises. So what you had is everyone hanging out with LeBron, and he softened them up like butter. That's how. That's what Russell used to do in Boston. What he would do is he'd get you out to go out on to go drinking with him. He'd always like Wilt Chamberlain come to town and he like take him out to dinner and he'd soften him up and it was like and that was like an old thing that NBA players used to do. Um, uh, Dr. J would soften up players whenever he came up against a rookie, and what they would do, these like veterans would like always soften up the young rookies, and basically and then the next day they dominate them on the court, and that's how basically that was like a growing and learning experience. Oh, okay, I can't let this guy push me around. So they try to be nice to them, and then they go on the court there and they're vicious, and they go, oh, okay. If you saw Winning Time, they had the episode where Magic Johnson was invited out to go hanging out with Dr. J, and he was amazed that he's hanging out with Dr. J, and like Kyrie Cream says, "You fool, that's how he gets you. He softens you up that way." And that's just how they played back then. It's how the league worked back then. And I mean, sure but sports science has made it so that these players are better. But they were good then. They were good then. And to say anything different is just ridiculous.